It is Marvel Contest of Champions news time. Hopefully you're having a lovely Sunday. I know I'm having a lovely Sunday. The weather is absolutely beautiful. I spent a good chunk of today out in it. But obviously you need to cool off, so I've come inside to record Marvel Contest of Champions news. Of course, it's a great way to finish the week. And even better in the UK because it's a bank holiday Monday. So I get tomorrow off. Fantastic. But obviously there's a lot of people that don't get that off. So let's cap off the end of the week with a nice little Marvel Contest of Champions news for the 6th of May 2018. So our first story kicks off with the mysterious Thanos Gauntlet issue. And it's not really an issue, but it's something of a consistency as a continuation, as a whatever it is, what's the word? Continuity, that's the word, the continuity side of things. And as you can see in this image, the left hand side is where the gauntlet is placed. Yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. Also, pretty unfortunate that unfortunately Thanos is on 1%, and poor person that fought against him to have him on 1%. Man, I feel you, like, that is Kabam trolling you, no end. But the fact is that the gauntlet, okay, so it's on the left. And when it comes to the fact of him going like, oh yes, I defeated you, it's on the right hand side. My god, what's going on here? Please, the continuity side of things. It's got to be on the same hand. I know obviously that it'd have to like look from a different angle, but you know that's kind of important. Like unless you're switching, it's gone. Hey, I'm just going to put it onto the right hand, and I don't know. Maybe one hand's like his pimp hand or something. One hand's stronger than the other. I don't know what's up. Either you know, no one's really mentioned this as a big issue, but I'm like, this is weird. Someone pointed out this could be to do with an AI mirroring, but Kabam really haven't responded to this, and I don't know if they'll kind of like sort out. It's just a very minute thing, but it's a little bit of detail that we all like to see. Next up is a little bit of an update to the story of dungeons, and in particular, obviously a lot of people, including myself, find that it takes about an hour to an hour quarter, maybe hour and a half at the latest with regards to getting through dungeons. You know, you can always pinpoint how things are going to go. You can have a really decent one. I have like fantastic dungeons where pretty much all the milestones have been got in one sitting. And that's it. That's just going blasting through a good chunk of Dungeon 6 or Dungeon 5. But then I've had times when things don't go well. Saturday, great day. Today, Sunday, I've not had a very consistent game. There's been times where the AI has been responding really abnormally. And a lot of people have experienced the same thing. But either way, the factor is that milestones either take a very short time to get or they can be incredibly long, which can frustrate a lot of players, especially at lower rating, and also if you don't have a large amount of champions, especially at say 4-star 550, which is always very handy. It's handy to have a lot of them because I have talked about this. I'm a big advocate for having a large 4-star 550 roster based on arena grind, and also just to help you out with different content in the game for running different things. And this is where this comes into practice. In this post, Mike puts a big emphasis on that when you're doing matchmaking, kind of linking up, it's all about how it should be based on the rating, not the prestige side of things, and maybe the skill level. And we'll talk about skill level a little bit further on because that is a big post that's kind of got a lot of traction to it. But the main thing is that, you know, you got to link up well, you got to go for stuff, and he says maybe it's best to go for 4, 5, 6 and avoid dungeons 1, 2, 3. Not an easy task if you've just, you know, started the game where you're kind of in the process of learning the dynamics of the game and you're trying to understand a few things. So this might mean you'll have kind of like scaling issues, or kind of like the scaling side of things with regards to the amount of points you can get through the milestones. Either way, hopefully people understand this and also understand the dynamic of how dungeons are. You know, they're good, but at the same time, they seem to be a real drag on time, and I hope like Kabam learned some lessons with regards to dungeons because they keep making minute little changes, and it does feel that the testing side of things, I could have got a chance to test this game mode out, but due to the typical beta testing thing not going well, I didn't have a chance. I know Dave and Brian got a chance, and myself and Havoc didn't get a chance to get into them. But it would have been nice to see a more of an extended testing. I'm talking about over weeks and months rather than it being kind of rushed, because Kabam keep making little changes, and it doesn't seem that we've got something that's at a stage where it's been trialed and tested and everyone's happy with it. Either way, dungeons are alright. They're not the most amazing things, but the idea is rock solid. Next up, and it's on to Marvel Insider for Free Comic Book Day. So there's been some good things and some bad things. Actually, there's one good thing and one bad thing. The one good thing is they did a 50,000 point kind of thing where you could get a code that could give you 50,000 points on Marvel Insider. But the downside is that the codes were unique. So you had to go to like your local comic book store and you had to get a special postcard. Some places did them, other places did not. And these kind of codes meant that you had a unique code and you could get 50,000 points. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're generic. It looks like they're very different. This is indeed slightly disappointing because obviously it would be nice to get a load out to the community. I think next time I'll put a note to myself for like next time there's something like this so that I can then go, right, well, I'll distribute out a load or kind of go to my local comic book store and say, hey, you know, I'm going to buy some stuff from you. Could you give me a load of the postcards so that I then can distribute out to a lot of people within the community? So, yeah, I've learned some lessons there from that one. Just a shame I couldn't get to the comic book store in the local city in time in order to kind of get this sorted. Next up is a donations glitch. So if you're donating and you kind of see that your points for things like battle chips and other stuff is in there, but then for some reason they kind of change and alter, this can be very disappointing to kind of keep a track on, especially if alliance leaders are going, hey, you didn't donate the correct amount, and you're there going like, well, I did. I can show you that I did. On your screen it may show that you have donated, but to the alliance leaders and maybe others it may show that you're not donating correctly. And here's an example of this particular glitch. This has been noted by Kabam Videos and hopefully will be dealt with fairly shortly. Next up, straight over to the Reddit, and I strongly suggest as well, if you're not familiar with the Contest of Champions Reddit, then link to it. It's like, go and sign up, go and subscribe. It's great over there. Some great stuff, a lot of funny things, also a lot of kind of like serious things. And in particular, this particular section of Corvus Glaive with regards to arena results. The big shocker for me is the reduction down on the cutoffs. In particular with the 4-star featured, 8.4 mil. I know it's going to be like, it's like a midweek, but the fact is it's reduced down quite a bit. Like that's just like a lot less than we're normally expecting for the new release champion. I hope it's something that is like happens in the future, and as well, it looks to see that the 5-star version is down as well to 32 mil. Now, I don't know if it's maybe he's not such a popular champion because he's like a new and not as kind of good as others. Maybe people are put off for whatever reason, or maybe people have kind of left the game that usually were intense arena grinders, or you know, they're maybe just going for milestones nowadays. I don't know. Either way, that I cannot speculate any further on that, but the fact is, it's good to see this kind of reduction down. It'd be quite exciting to see how Infinity War Iron Man and Infinity War Captain America do when it comes to next week. And obviously they're going to be in respectively, so one's going to be in next week and the one will probably be about 2 weeks after. Next up, and we're back over to the forum in particular to look at this article about Quake. So a lot of people, in particular, like I've been playing a lot in dungeons and I haven't used my Quake, but I've been working with people that have had their Quake, especially to go against a champion like Mordo, and for whatever reason, how things work with concussion, the aftershock, and like how things work with a stun, yeah, they're not really working as correctly as possible. I don't know if it's because they played around with the champion fairly recently with regards to what they consider to be an exploit with regards to the permanent loop, and as a result that caused issues with regards to the way that Quake has been working for people. I don't know, I can't really speculate, but a lot of people have had issues, in particular in dungeons and to a lesser degree in things like alliance questing. A lot of people have voiced their concerns based on the same subject, and if you have a problem with this and you're experiencing this with Quake, then get on over to the forum post and let your thoughts be known. Our next story is all about the matchmaker with regards to partners for dungeons, and yeah, a lot of people, and I'm smiling because this is where I kind of like have to eat my own words, because like I said back along with regards to the matchmaker, I was hoping that the matchmaker would be rock solid, but it's not, because you have to take in consideration that maybe the people that have the champions in order to kind of match up correctly maybe don't have the skill level in order to kind of like work with another person and take you through. I strongly suggest anybody that's kind of a bit worried when it comes to dungeons and kind of clicking that matchmaker to find a partner, that you actually find someone that you click with and you have a good rapport with, especially maybe someone within your alliance that you know you can regularly do it with, or maybe someone on your friends list that you definitely know are kind of available for certain times, can get through certain things, and are both agreed on working so hard to get those milestones. Because I've got that. I'm quite fortunate that there's somebody I like to go and play dungeons with, because we understand one another, same country, at the same time understand we both want to complete those milestones. We just go, hey, okay, so someone messed up, that's fine, then we then decide, right, we'll conclude and go back into it again. And you need that level of understanding. There will be people that will be incredibly impatient and will be like, hey, you messed up, man, you suck, you're a noob. And that's not like very like creative or helpful in any kind of way. At the same time, you know, you need to properly, like I said, you need to understand one another, you need to work together, you need to communicate well. I will be doing a guide on dungeons that has a lot more elements that people maybe aren't discussing and aren't thinking of. So yeah, do look out for that, and hopefully it gives people perspective on matching up correctly, understanding skill levels, and just communicating well. That's the main thing. Communication is so important. We're used to it with alliances and alliance wars and alliance questing. We should be used to this now. And people maybe at a lower rated level, don't feel intimidated when you get paired up with someone that may be a lot more, you know, better than you. I think that's the point of, again, finding someone that you can work well with. Command Vidius or Vidius, don't really know if I'm pronouncing it right, doesn't really matter, says something on the same effect. And yeah, it's not a great matchmaker. It will only get you so far to find someone that is got the same amount of champions based on rating. And then obviously if you're doing difficult dungeons, then maybe less than skilled people will be not able to do that. And so I think that next time I do dungeons, there will be more specific or, you know, similar thing to Alliance Wars with regards to like hitting certain kind of point thresholds so you match up correctly. Either way, I'm not an expert. I don't really know what the great answer to this is, but hopefully next time I do dungeons and roll it out, obviously because it ends this month, that they find a real key to winning. And our final story is this like funny little thing that I found, in that if you go to the link in the description and it then ports you over, you'll then find out whether or not you were saved or you were killed by Thanos. Obviously if you've seen Infinity Wars, and obviously you don't really need to spoil this because it's in his ethos, his mantra, his kind of thing, that his motivation, I'm getting at eventually, is that he saves 50% and kills 50% of a population of a planet. So at the moment it says you are spared by Thanos. I just typed it in a few times with regards to the link, and I just keep getting spared by Thanos, which is good because the first time I looked at it on my phone, I was killed by Thanos. So I've had a very mixed day. So that has been Marvel Contest of Champions news for the 6th of May 2018. Hopefully you're having a lovely bank holiday weekend in the UK, and hopefully around the world you've had a lovely weekend and you're raring and ready to go for a lovely new week, especially kind of grinding out the game and finishing off loads of dungeons and getting some amazing stuff. I'm certainly looking forward to a productive week and getting loads of decent content out to you. In any case, thank you very much for watching. Obviously, if you want to follow me, you can do on social media, links in the description. Hit the notifications button on and all that lovely stuff. I've been RichTheMan, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye for now.